It's March 17th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a chicken that lived without a head, a shipwreck that split apart and was sewn back together, and a parade that started far from its Irish roots. Let's begin. On March 17th, 1947, in a quiet motel room in Phoenix, one of the strangest survival stories in American history came to an eerie end. For nearly 18 months, a rooster, known across the country as Mike the Headless Chicken, had been traveling from town to town, astonishing crowds and baffling scientists. Because Mike had no head. The impossible story began on September 10, 1945, when Colorado farmer Lloyd Olson tried to slaughter a bird for dinner. His axe missed the mark. The blow removed most of the rooster's head, yet left part of the brainstem intact. Miraculously, the rooster didn't die. A blood clot prevented fatal bleeding, and the remaining brain tissue allowed Mike to stand, balance, and even attempt to crow. The bird became a national sensation. Newspapers called him the Headless Wonder. People lined up at carnivals just to see the creature that should not have been alive. But on that final night, Mike began choking. Normally, his owners used a syringe to clear mucus from his throat to feed him liquid food, but that night, the syringe was missing, left behind at a slideshow. A creature that shouldn't have lived survived across the country for more than 18 months, showing that sometimes the truth can seem stranger than fiction. On March 17, 1907, in the cold darkness off the coast of Cornwall, a massive ocean liner drifted towards disaster. The ship was the SS Shipwreck, a passenger liner owned by the same company that would later build the infamous Titanic. That night, the fog was thick and swallowed the coastline as the Shipwreck approached England after a long voyage. Then, without warning, the hull slammed into the jagged rocks of Lizard Peninsula. The ship was stuck fast on the reef, waves crashing against the steel hull as hundreds of passengers realized they were stranded in the middle of the night. What followed became one of the most incredible rescues in maritime history. Lifeboat crews for the Royal National Lifeboat Institution rode through the darkness and violent seas for 16 straight hours. Trip after trip, they carried terrified passengers away from the wreck. Amazingly, every single one of the 456 passengers survived. The bow of the ship was shattered beyond repair, and instead of scrapping the liner, engineers did something almost unbelievable. They cut the ship in half. The ruined front section was abandoned on the reef, while the intact stern was towed away and fitted to an entirely new bow, giving the ship a renewed life. The Shipwreck sailed again, a ship literally reborn from its own wreck, half survivor and half replacement. On March 17, 1601, in a small colonial outpost on the edge of the known world, it was a distant Spanish settlement called St. Augustine. At the time, the town was a remote frontier of the Spanish Empire, surrounded by wilderness, pirates, and constant threats from rival powers. Yet on this day, the narrow dirt streets filled with music, marching, and celebration. It was the first recorded St. Patrick's Day parade in history, and the man behind it was an Irish priest, Ricardo Artur. Far from his homeland, serving in the Spanish colony thousands of miles away, he decided to honor St. Patrick in a way that has never been done before. So the soldiers, settlers, and clergy marched through the tiny settlement, celebrating an Irish saint in the middle of Spanish America. 4 centuries later, millions celebrate St. Patrick's Day across the world. How odd the first parade didn't begin in Ireland, but it began in a lonely Spanish colonial town. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.